Greetings Autobots and welcome back. We're going to continue with our Studio Series reviews, but we're going to jump back into the world of Transformers 1 with the latest release, the Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class B-127 / Bumblebee. So first off, we're going to take a look at the packaging here. We have Transformers Studio Series, Transformers 1 B-127 / Bumblebee. Some beautiful artwork. I think it's almost like maybe a render, like a CG render of B in his alternate mode and robot mode, which I think looks fantastic. We have on the back Deluxe Class, and on the back we have the screenshot of the scene where he breaks into essentially like a computer room full of IT consultants and then just destroys all of their equipment because, well, he thought it'd be funny. It says here, Bumblebee, Optimus Prime, Megatron, and TFOne go on a mission to save Cybertron. Now, that's not 100% accurate because it's B-127, Orion Pax, D16, and TFOne. Because Bumblebee isn't in Bumblebee until the end of the movie, and Optimus becomes Optimus at the end, and Megatron becomes Megatron at the end. But semantics aside, it transforms in 18 steps. We have a picture here of his robot mode and vehicle mode decked out with his accessories. We have your legal mumbo jumbo and the official brand of authenticity. More than meets the eye, authentic. Top of the box just says B-127 / Bumblebee, and that is pretty much it for the packaging. And included is the standard Studio Series instructional sheet. So here we have our bot of the hour, the Transformers 1 Studio Series Deluxe Class B-127. Now, I will be comparing him a bit to the Prime Changer, but I think this guy is in a bit of a league of his own, in a way, because I personally think this is a pretty solid figure, and I'm really excited to add Elita 1 to my collection later in the year. So we have here, unlike the Prime Changer, this one has an almost matte gold finish, which makes him look very metallic, though like Sentinel Prime and the other Transformers 1 Studio Series figures, I would love if they released a premium finish with that metallic gloss that they have in the movie. It would be a bit more pricey because of paint costs, but I think it would make these designs absolutely pop on the shelf. Let's just get a closer look at the detail here. Again, a very faithful recreation of that design. And look at that little noggin there, cast out in silver, blue paint. Very nice, especially around the face. I just wish he had a more Bumblebee-like facial expression, like give him a smile or something more animated, because in the movie he was an absolute gremlin. He never stopped talking, and honestly, I love him for it. Silly little goober. There's a very nice angled look to it, very slim, but also kind of bulky. Around the chest, it looks more like he's got almost a cone, but his arms are greebled a lot, which means there's a lot of techno detail and stuff. Some nice gunmetal grey on the knee pads and silver on his feet. Just a very solid, detailed looking figure. Come around to the back, and he's very clean as well. He has his backpack, but it's not the worst backpack I've ever seen on a figure. Now, posability, what are we looking at? I'll tell you, Bumblebee has a full degree of rotation at the shoulder. They're on joints, so you can kind of collapse them down. Though this tends to unpack the chest a bit. You can collapse that back up. You have a wrist swivel, but nothing at, or no, you have an elbow swivel, but you have nothing at the actual wrist because of the nature of the transformation. Head can look up that far, down that far, and rotate the full 360 degrees. You have a waist swivel. Your legs can kick up that far and kick down that far. I just realized his knees are very short. Maybe it's just me, but knees can kick just about over, just barely over 90, but it just looks a bit off from this angle. Maybe it's just the way the lighting is. And feet with a massive toe down and an ankle rocker and a swivel. So the posability is pretty good. it's solid, serviceable, gets the job done, and it's lacking just a few key components, namely more expressive legs. I would wish for him, or rather he had more dynamic legs and a bit more movement at the hands, but for what it's worth, not a bad figure, not bad posing at all. So let's get down to his transformation. So first what you're going to want to do is just come to these panels here and push them open. This will allow you to push his, or rotate his wrists and close the panel up. Rotate the panel so this side is facing out the way. Same plan here. Just bring that out. Rotate that. It makes a nice click whenever you push it. Very satisfying. Good old hefty clicks, just the way I like it. Then you're going to want to take his head and rotate it 180. Come around to the backpack and just open this section here. There is a tab right in here. There's tabs that hold these slots in place, secure in the backpack. Take this piece here, which will become the hood of the space car, and then disconnect the chest from this little post or post and port tab slot right there, and bring this over the head, collapse that in, and then you're just going to want to push that down until it snaps into place, and then straighten out the bonnet until it sits flush like this. Okay, what do we want to do now? Work on the legs. So you're just going to want to bring the legs together. They're on a hook tab, so you're just going to want to bring it over until it hooks into place, and then tap the feet together. This will keep everything nice and secured. Then flip in the heels. Forgot to mention he also has heels. And then bring the feet out until they sit flush like this. And then in a really cool piece of engineering, you're going to take the backs of his legs and just, oop, I accidentally disconnected that. Oh, please don't tell me I stressed the plastic there. No, oh thank goodness. Oh, my heart. My heart was about to leap out of my chest. Dear, dear. So just make sure that's all pegged together. This little tab at the bottom. And then you're just going to take these bits here and swing them all the way around. There's tabs here that will go into slots on the legs. Just like that. Make sure to straighten out the wheels so you have it sitting like so. Then collapse or bring the legs down like this, and you're going to want to push up at his waist, and this will lift this entire section up on this hinge, which will allow you to just slide that into place. And finally, what you're going to want to do is collapse all of this up. This tab is going to go into a slot on this arm. So collapse this down first and then push this in so this little nub clears the bonnet. And then push up and it will sit like this. It's a bit hard to visualize because of the obstruction, but I hope I'm being clear enough describing this. So same process before. Collapse in the way. Bump the camera there, sorry about that. And oh yeah, I forgot to mention there's a slot, there's a tabs and slots which will go in here and here to secure the arms in place. Let me see, just make sure I get it angled right. There we go. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of fidgeting to get it right, but once it's in there, it's not going to go anywhere in a hurry. And there you go. There you have B-127 in his Cybertronian car mode. And I really dig it. It's a very nice interpretation, though it is a little bit flawed in comparison to the Prime Changers. Though, like many other Studio Series counterparts, it does have its quality perks. Though I will say the transformation for the Prime Changers one is a lot more dynamic. I've completely forgot to mention as well, I was careless of me. I completely forgot to mention Bumblebee comes with a whole slew of accessories. He comes with a death tracker rifle from Sentinel's Elite Guards. I think only Elita and Orion use these in the movie, but it makes sense to give them to B so then other figures can wield them. Very nice. They're molded in detail. You've got a molded in magazine and a stock. Just a nice looking alien rifle. And he comes with 2 blasters and his knife hands. Or if you watch in the UK or Europe, I think in the UK they censored it so it's sword hands because, well, stabbings are sadly very common here, but that's a topic for another day. So you have his swords or knife hands. They, unfortunately, he can only wield them with his guns. He can't plug them into his wrists. So they just kind of have to sit like this. And I'll demonstrate this in robot mode. Again, apologize for forgetting to show those things. You would think I'd be used to this by now, but it just goes to show sometimes you just make the odd mistake. Happens to the best of us. But let's take a closer look at the vehicle mode. Very Cybertronian, very futuristic in its aesthetic, and it kind of looks like it's got a big grin. The nice, almost eye-like pattern here. The gunmetal grey streaking across is quite pleasing to look at too. And that glossy yellow makes it look almost golden, especially shining in the light. He does have a bit of a gap though, which is kind of unfortunate, but it's not the end of the world, just more of a nitpick. Come around to the back, and something that the Prime Changers did better, he had tail lights painted in red, but this one doesn't, which is a bit disappointing. And he has pinned wheels so he can roll like a dream. But overall, yeah, a really solid figure. I'd actually reviewed the Devastation Prime recently, which I was not as favourable to, but this guy I can easily recommend. So far, I've had nothing but a good time with him. Especially if you're looking to build your Transformers 1 collection. This guy is an essential component, and he was one of my favourite characters in the movie. So that about covers it for the Cybertronian car mode, so let's transform him back. Again, just bring the waist down until it pegs into place, and then straighten his legs out. Now, in order to correctly open this, what I like to do is just unpeg the legs and then lift it up, sort of break it up like this. Don't pull it or press it down, because the hook tab is designed in such a way that it clips in, so you're going to want to open it up to avoid stressing the tab. Just being conscious in case there's any breakage or tolerance issues. There you have B-127 back in his robot mode. So let's kit him up with his accessories before we close out for the day. I think I might actually shoot maybe a thumbnail of him with the gun. We have him holding the death tracker rifle. Don't don't know if he can maybe hold it across here. Actually, he kind of can. That actually looks really good. Wow. That actually does look pretty impressive. It's nice to actually have a transformer that can hold a gun properly instead of just one-handing it. It's still a little bit off, but you can still pull off a decent enough holding a gun pose, and his accessories can tab into his bag, which I will showcase. Now, if I recall correctly, the depth tracker rifle just plugs into his butt right here. So just plug it in there. There you go, you have the legendary butt gun of Cybertron. Pan-panding. So you can angle that however you want. You can have it down, you can have it just straight up. It really doesn't matter. Now, his weapons were his blades and blasters. So you're just going to want to plug those in. They are on 5mm ports. Good old 5mm compatible ports. You love to see it. Now they leave a bit of a gap, which is kind of unfortunate, but that's more of a nitpick. And there you have B-127, fully decked out and kitted out for battle. So, what's my verdict? I'd say this figure is a definite recommend. I think this guy will be an A-level figure too, like the Devastation Optimus Prime, but whereas I cautiously recommended him with some caveats, I can safely say this figure is definitely worth your time and money. So, if you can find him, whether it be on sale or at your local toy store, pick him up. You won't go wrong, and that's a promise. So, I think that's about all I have to say for this video. So, this was the Transformers Studio Series B-127/Bumblebee/Badassatron. And if you guys enjoyed this review and want to see more, please feel free to leave a comment in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of this video and the figure. I'd love to hear what you have to say. So, that's pretty much all I had to say. So this is Autobot ASMR, signing off for the night. Autobots, transform and roll out to bed.